Told you guys I'd be back. I told you guys I'd be back, so here I am back. I need a thumbnail picture. Okay, cool. Fine. Hello, pretty people. Welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute, but not as long as I said it would. I told you guys I was gonna be. I'm consistent. I'm consistent. I'm consistent. And this I've been working on for a while, which is the reason why I didn't drop it as immediately as one may have expected. But don't worry, guys. This is gonna be a 2-part video. Poppy Playtime could have been the next cult classic if the developers would let it be great. I don't want to brag, but if I was in charge of the Poppy Playtime movie adaptation, this could be the next cult horror classic. The game has so much potential. Too much potential. More than people give it credit for. But right now, it feels like it's holding itself back. If I were writing this movie, I'd take the story in a completely different direction. Well, not too much of a completely different direction, but one that could turn this game into something unforgettable. The story feels disconnected, like it's more interested in setting up jump scares and letting us connect with what's happening inside of Playtime Co. So, if I were in charge of the movie, we'd start by making the world feel more lived in and grounded in reality. First things first, we're already in pretty unserious territory with this film because toys, consciousness, goo, grab pack hands, everything just going dark. It's a lot. We're already towing the line. We need to tighten this up a little bit more. The toys, Jim Henson, we're getting his company on the horn. Because no way we're not using actual puppets for these toys. Can you imagine a Huggy Wuggy and Kissy Missy puppet? You guys see the vision. Anyways, the grab pack hands. Why do I care about them? You cannot tell me that the grab pack hands are literally just a situation where it's just, oh, the employees use them and that's the only reason why we have them. Because if I could use my hands to pull those wires around, if I could use my hands to open these doors, why wouldn't I use them? There has to be a legitimate reason for why this happened. Like how there's a legitimate reason for why you have portals in the game Portal. You cannot just say, oh yeah, all the employees had it. Because the suspension of disbelief with that, gone. Especially because also in the gameplay footage of the Hour of Joy, there's literally no grab pack hands in sight. So what if they were actually biohazard containment tools issued when the toys first started showing signs of violence? That instantly makes the world feel more lived in and scarier because there's already a precedent to the Hour of Joy, but only some people were aware of it because the grab pack hands were only given to certain people. Okay, also, why is nobody asking questions? There's video of a child going overboard into some goo. Catnap has bad breath. Like, why is nobody asking questions? I beg, why is there not even a glimmer of like a cover-up or something like that? Like, where is it? So what if the protagonist is not just there because of some vague letter about, you know, people are still alive? I sure hope so. But to expose what really happened inside of Playtime Co. from the perspective of an employee who's trying to sue but needs legitimate proof that something happened. Small tweak, little small tweak, and obviously this can be explained more with the rest of the story because we really just heard about that letter first chapter and then it was done, but there obviously could be more storyline to it. However, for the sake of like a film storyline exposition, that would all need to be figured out so much earlier on. So if there's a motivation to expose and get as much truth as possible. I'm not saying it necessarily has to be like, oh, we need footage, we're journalists or something, we're photographer, Outlast style, but like, we need something to like ground us in the reality of a purpose and a continual purpose that we will always remember no matter how much happens. Because I'm telling you, if Huggy Wuggy came over here and tried to body me, I'm leaving. What are we talking about? I'm not looking for more evidence. That is my evidence. We need a legitimate reason for why he's still here. He's looking for people, but also what with that? That makes also the retrieval of audio tapes and VHS tapes and notes, it matters more because they're proof that something was going on here. moving on. The entire aspect of the moral dilemma is something that needs to be established so much earlier on in the story than it is. Because what do you mean? You're asking me now in chapter 3 and 4, like, yo, you get to pick. Does this character live or die? Like, I haven't been bodying characters left and right. Like, Huggy Wuggy hasn't been dead. Or so we thought. Like Mommy Longlegs hasn't been gone. Like, the night critters weren't being shot with fire before we even got to this room, let alone another chapter. Like, this is why I think as soon as we kill Huggy Wuggy, that death needs to feel as much of a tragedy as possible instead of just another obstacle. Especially because given every chapter in the gameplay, there's a new toy to kill, essentially. So it can quickly feel like all of these toys are just disposable obstacles to just help Poppy, because the beginning of why we got here with the letter immediately got forgotten, low-key. So as soon as we establish we're here for proof and that we're choosing to help Poppy because it could lead us to other people who are stuck here, as soon as you kill Huggy Wuggy, you should also start to have some sort of seed of doubt planted in should you have done that, or was there another way, especially because, again, this is a toy with a child's consciousness. You should kind of feel bad for killing it, but the fact that there's nothing to indicate that you do, especially with all these audio tapes that suggest that, oh, like, this is Huggy Wuggy's purpose, these are all these toys' purpose, it just feels like you're going through the motions when you should be considering what you're doing, not just when you're asked about it 4 chapters later. This is something that would immediately, in a movie setting, affect the protagonist, and it should. You need to hammer in as much as possible the fact that every toy you encountered is essentially a person, an employee, a child who never asked to be here, and basically every time you survive, somebody else died. Because the toys are not just monsters, they're victims. And if the movie can make you feel that way by every time you kill somebody, you're reminded of exactly what they did for these children. You're reminded of who they were as employees. There are little glimpses and hints as to not only the fact that these toys are people, but also that they were good people who did not ask for this and were more likely than not threatened into the situation that they were in. Obviously, there's going to be a part 2, so I'm not going to go too far into it, but let me just explain. I mentioned the VHS tapes. We're going to go a little deeper into that. We're also going to go a little deeper into Ollie as a character, the doctor, the prototype, and Dowie. Because we have to talk about Dowie. He matters so much to me. He should matter so much to you. And please believe, if I'm in charge of this movie, I will make him as relevant as possible to the plot. Not just a toy that was killed in the 4th chapter. No, you will remember his name. So basically, wait till part 2. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. Bye!